Express entry program can be a very attractive option for entrepreneurs and business owners. Let's discuss that topic today. We will bring you 2023 insights and 2024 tips for your attention. This will be a bit longer, so I'll ask for your patience and stay tuned. Let's get started.
Just a quick reminder before we start. Please note that whatever you hear in these live sessions or any content you see on social media by Savirov's law firm is general information only and not legal advice. While we may use certain real-life scenarios or legal cases for learning purposes, it is important to remember that this does not constitute a legal opinion. For personalized legal advice, please consult with your lawyer or hire a Canadian immigration lawyer. Now, let's get back to our show.
Welcome to the show. Today we'll be talking about express entry for business owners and entrepreneurs, 2023 insights, as well as 2024 tips for you. So before I start, let me be clear that this slide, these presentations that I do will be a bit longer because I want to give you a lot of examples from our practice and a lot of tips that you should keep in mind going forward. So this presentation is a bit longer than usual, but I will come to your questions after the presentation, okay? All right, let's start the presentation. Before we delve into the topic, let me give you a brief refresher on how entrepreneurs and business owners can get PR, okay, in Canada. Usually there are 4 ways to obtain permanent residence for investors, entrepreneurs, business owners. One is startup visa program, very popular, very attractive to many entrepreneurs from around the world, regardless of their age group. Then express entry. We will discuss express entry only today, okay? We'll focus on that program. And obviously there are provincial nominee programs for entrepreneurs who will do business and run business for a certain amount of time and perform in certain provinces, so PNPs. And Quebec Investor Immigrant Program that has been relaunched this past month in January. We still have to see the new iteration, new practice based on that previously very popular program, but today our focus is express entry for entrepreneurs, okay? Now, express entry for entrepreneurs. The purpose of the program is to attract experienced immigrants. As a whole, express entry attracts experienced immigrants who can establish themselves economically in Canada. There are 3 categories under which the express entry operates. Federal skilled worker, which is suitable for entrepreneurs, we will come to that. Canadian experience class, for those who already have an work experience in Canada, but most entrepreneurs, especially self-employed entrepreneurs, cannot claim eligibility under that CEC category. Federal skilled trades are for skilled trades who are eligible, and this also doesn't really fit entrepreneurs. Stream for entrepreneurs and self-employed is the one that is called federal skilled worker stream. Please note that, as I said, entrepreneurs and business owners are both employers and employees of their companies. Usually, that's most of the time. Therefore, they are not eligible to apply under the CEC stream, which presumes that you have a Canadian work experience by working to somebody else, not in your own business. So, nor they can claim points for their work experience. You know, there are under express entry, you can claim additional points for your experience. So you cannot claim that as entrepreneur and business owner. So selection based on the following factors under express entry. And you will see one factor is a disadvantage in many cases with respect to entrepreneurs. One is language. Not all entrepreneurs are very fluent in English. It's okay, minimum CLB 6, Canadian Language Benchmark 6 is required, but due to the high competition under express entry, a typical entrepreneur may not be having IELTS 7 or 8 or 8.5. So educational level, again, not all entrepreneurs have PhDs in their pocket. Skilled work experience, age is another very big factor that bothers entrepreneurs because express entry brings in the very young people. They put priority on younger generation, right? So skilled work experience, age, adaptability factors, that's given, and valid job offer can also boost your scores. We will touch upon these elements in a moment. Okay, express entry for entrepreneurs. Two things. One disadvantage. Most entrepreneurs who are over 35, 40 years old, they lose some points under express entry. Express entry is a great program, but when it comes to age, it basically punishes you for being older than 35 or 40. Then when you lose to 100 points, you cannot easily be selected from the candidates pool. But advantage for entrepreneurs specifically is that entrepreneurs with a thriving business in Canada can claim 200 points for a valid job offer in the senior executive role from their own company. How? We will see now. Okay, this is a refresher of the whole entrepreneur stream. Let me see, my presentation is glitching a little bit. Okay, here we go. What does IRCC say about a valid job offer? Because valid job offer is the key to success when it comes to entrepreneurs going through express entry. A job offer is valid for the Federal Skilled Worker Program stream under the express entry program if the job is working for one employer, continuous, paid and full-time, at least 30 hours a week, and not seasonal, valid for at least 1 year after issuance of permanent resident visa, and it is in a NOC 00, because we used to call it NOC 00, now it's called tier category 0, but let's use the NOC 00 terminology, to claim 200 points, or in tier category 1, 2, or 3 to claim 50 points. Not always you need 200 points, right? Sometimes certain entrepreneurs are happy with 50 points. So it does, but we will focus on 200 points, which really puts you ahead of the curve under express entry profile in the express entry pool. In addition, to be valid, the job offer must meet the following conditions. 1, the applicant must hold a valid LMIA confirming the job offer, so your business has to obtain LMIA and then give it to you. Or, alternative, the job offer must be issued by the company that the applicant has been working for at least 1 year on a closed work permit. So there's a basically LMIA pathway and non-LMIA pathway in a way. So LMIA pathway, the one that if you manage a business in Canada and would like to secure an LMIA in NOC 00 category, which gives you 200 points, your business must meet the following conditions. Active engagement in offering goods and services to customers, maybe in Canada, maybe globally, doesn't matter. But your business must be actively engaged in a business that offers goods and services. Physical address in Canada, that must be there. Paying customers, you need to show sales. Sufficient revenue or funds to pay your foreign nationals' salary and operational costs of the business. Employees must be there. At least one employee if you want to claim 50 points, but our focus is 200 points. But at least 10 employees if you want to claim 200 points. So this is when this first position when the applicant must hold a valid LMIA confirming the job offer, right? This is the LMIA pathway. Now let's see the non-LMIA pathway, LMIA-exempt pathway. For example, if you hold C11 work permit or ICT work permits, these are called LMIA-exempt categories. What makes a job offer in tier 0 valid? This is if you have been managing the business in Canada and would like to claim 200 points for a job offer in NOC 00 tier 0 category, your company should meet the following conditions. Genuine active business that has been offering goods or services to customers, That's very similar to the previous category. Your business has a physical address, again, in Canada. So that's similar. Your business has sufficient revenue funds to pay your salary and the day-to-day operations. But here is the difference. In terms of employees, there's no specific requirement, but your business must have at least 2 managers and professionals working under those managers for you to be able to claim 200 points. So this is LMIA exempt, where you have been on a C11 or ICT work permit, and then you want to now claim after some time, after 1 year, you want to claim 200 points. This is the conditions for the business that you have. Okay, what does it mean whether you get 200 points or 50 points? There's no in between. You cannot get 150 points. You either get 200 or you get 50. NOC code rules how it's distinguished, okay? It depends on the NOC category. For example, senior executive tier 0, which is NOC 00, or simply managerial, which is tier 1, 2, or 3. NOC rule says you need to be performing actions described in the lead statement of that occupation. We will see an example. These are the rough rules. And performing all of the essential duties, and a substantial number, which is defined 2 or more, of the main duties as set out in the occupational description under that NOC. Let's see some examples. 200 points. Let's take a restaurant business, okay? 200 points under NOC code 0015 for senior managers in food sector. Lead statement, as you can see there, it reads, senior managers in trade, broadcasting, and other customer services plan, organize, direct, control, and evaluate through middle managers. So you are at the top, there's a manager, and then employee, okay? So should be clear. This is the lead statement. You need to satisfy all the requirements of the lead statement as it's described here in the rules, performing all actions described in the lead statement. So this is the lead statement of a NOC description. So, and of course you read further, XYZ, they formulate policies which establish the direction of the company and so on. They may own and operate their own business. So whoever completes these duties, performs these actions under lead statement, they can be a business owner. That's why we are talking about self-employed, like they own the business, they are employers and employees at the same time. Main duties, as we said in here, performing all of the essential duties. Now we will see here, I think my presentation is lacking behind. It's okay. Sorry for the technical error. There's a 2 seconds problem with when I flip from slide to slide. Okay, under main duties, you can see that establish objectives of the company and formulate the policy or approve the policies, authorize and organize the establishment of major departments and associated senior staff positions. So you need to comply with all, select middle managers and directors. These are the highlights that I want you to pay attention, that you are dealing with middle managers. So if you want to claim NOC 00 200 points. And you coordinate the work of the regions, divisions, and departments, and so on and so forth. You need to read the lead statement and comply with the main duties. You have to be doing those activities. Now, in comparison to another one that gives you 50 points as opposed to 200 points. NOC code 0631, managers in food services. Now you can see there are some similarities. In the lead statement, it says, of course, planning, organizing, directing, controlling, evaluating of the operations, and so on. They can also be self-employed. Here, there's a difference. My presentation is really slow. I think there's a problem with the Canva presentation. Anyways, so They may be self-employed, as we saw in the previous slide. Okay, in the previous slide, where the lead statement said they may own and operate their own business. Here, they may be self-employed under different NOC code. There are no essential duties under this NOC code, but main duties, they have to perform the majority of these duties. Here you don't see middle managers, right? So you need to read the NOC description and duties very carefully and then put yourself, are you performing these functions, and can you claim, do you have middle managers or not? So recruits, here you can also still recruit staff and oversee staff training, but you cannot recruit middle managers. So that's why, depending from NOC code and depending what you are doing, you fit either this code or that code. So you need to be really careful reading your functions. So let's see the examples from our practice now from 2023. Again, restaurant business is very popular, and the examples from our practice in 2023, this is LMIA-based job offer that our client successfully claimed 200 points. So our client in her early 40s, so again, losing points because of her age, came to Canada as an international student. After her graduation, she decided to become self-employed and purchased a business, a small fast food chain in downtown Toronto. Her establishment at that location had 4 employees. Later, she purchased another location of the same food chain. In that location, there were 6 employees. Each establishment had a manager responsible for that branch. Since the applicant was on post-graduation work permit, which is an open work permit, right? She required a positive LMIA. Remember, when you have worked for your business in a closed work permit, you have a potential to skip the LMIA stage. But because she had an open work permit, she had to go through a positive LMIA pathway for a valid job offer, so she could claim 200 points. We applied and obtained her an LMIA in NOC 00, tier 0 category, to manage both of her businesses. So she has 2 businesses, two branches of the food chain. She has managers at each location. So LMIA was approved, and her permanent residence applications with an increased score was approved in 4 months. So this is a successful case of an international student going through express entry program with increased CRS score. Another one, LMIA-exempt job offer. This is the one that doesn't have to go through LMIA. Let's see what happened there. This was an ICT, intra-company transfer work permit holder moving towards permanent residency after some time. So president of a construction company successfully claimed 200 points. Our client, again in his late 40s, came to Canada as an intra-company transferee to set up a branch of his construction company. He worked in Canada for that company for 1.5 years as a president of the company. At the end of year 1, his company reported almost 360,000 in revenue and employed 2 professionals in Canada. Client received a job offer from his Canadian company in NOC 0016, which is applicable for senior managers in construction. Client held a closed work permit. That's why she doesn't need an LMIA under intra-company transfer program. We applied for the express entry program under federal skilled worker and claimed 200 points for arranged employment, and client's PR application was approved in about 6 months. So that's LMIA exempt pathway for entrepreneurs. Another one, which is an example of, again, LMIA exempt pathway of C11 work permit holder, owner of a trade company, successfully claimed 200 points. Again, client in her late 40s came to Canada as an entrepreneur to start her international trading company, focused on health and wellness. She managed to establish her company in Alberta and worked in Canada for about 12 months, actively building her business. At the end of year 1, her company, actually, this is a typo here, her company reported a modest $13,000 in revenue and had only one employee in Canada. However, the client hired 5 different companies to provide services for her company. So legal team, business consulting team, marketing team, accounting team, project management team, and provided evidence of payment of such teams. So basically, she consistently used the services of these professionals, outsourced professionals. Client received a job offer from her Canadian company under NOC 0015, senior manager in trade. Client held a closed work permit under C11 program, so no LMIA was required. We applied for express entry, claimed 200 points for arranged employment since she managed her business through outsourced managers. So managers don't have to be on your payroll. You are managing, you are on top of managers, but those managers are not on your payroll. So this is also an option. The legislation doesn't require you to put your managers on your payroll, okay? That's also an insight for you. Client's PR application was approved in about 6 months, okay? Now, examples from our practice in 2024, we are not shy away of describing this. This case is still pending because we don't agree with the decision of IRCC. We want to appeal that, but IRCC found that it was a not valid job offer under NOC 00, tier 0 category. 2 cases that I want to highlight where IRCC challenged our client's position that they had a valid job offer in senior managerial position. Case 1, again, ICT, closed work permit, intra-company closed work permit client, came to establish his company branch in Canada, but by the time of his PR application, he did not have a physical location. That's a big no-no for his business due to the e-commerce nature of the business. Yes, the nature is, but that's now being challenged by us. So IRCC's position is that you cannot claim to manage your company through senior staff if you do not have a physical location in Canada. That's a position that we were given. We are challenging this position and the decision remains to be seen. It's not the final word, but we are in the challenging mode. Case number 2, our client came to Canada as an entrepreneur to operate his retail business, convenience store. After 1 year, he applied for PR under Federal Skilled Worker and claimed 200 points for arranged employment under NOC 0015. The IRCC challenged the validity of the job offer given the scale of his business. IRCC stated that his offer was in NOC 0621, which gives 50 points, not 0015, which gives 200 points. So we are still challenging this position of IRCC, and the decision we will inform you about the decision. But you can see the insights, what worries and what is the red flag for IRCC in terms of evaluating whether the job offer that gives you 200 points is a valid or not. And they can requalify, saying that, no, not 200 points, it's 50 points, okay? So 50 points doesn't really help many entrepreneurs. Some of them are happy with 50 points, but most of them are encouraged to get 200 points. Now, lessons learned. As I promised, the slides are many slides that I want to give some highlights. Lessons learned and tips for 2024. Let me finish with this. We learned the following lessons. Entrepreneurs in Canada are likely to get a positive LMIA for NOC 00 if their company employs 10 plus employees, 10 or more, okay? This is a good indicator. IRCC will challenge the validity of a job offer if the company in Canada does not have a physical location. That's also a lessons learned from us. IRCC will challenge the validity of a job offer in NOC 00 if the scale of the business operation in Canada is small, self-employed versus entrepreneurship. So you need to prove that you are doing entrepreneurship rather than just being self-employed and employing yourself and nobody else. Or you should show the that you will. It's forward-looking, okay? Entrepreneurs in Canada do not have to demonstrate that they are currently working under NOC 00 to claim 200 points, because the job offer under express entry is a forward-looking statement, meaning that you must demonstrate that you will have a job in the future, sometime in the immediate future, in the NOC 00 category, even if you are currently employed under different NOC. Okay? This is lessons learned. Tips for entrepreneurs like you. Our tips, if you want to discuss it further, book a consultation with us. We will be happy to discuss your specific case. Tips, make sure your business has a physical location. A website that shows your address and the registration with Google Business Services, which is very doable. You need to have that. IRCC officers always Google your business. They want to verify its genuineness. And it must show up online. Your business must show up online with the same address as your application package. You need to see what's the address in your application package. That should be the same, because that could be a red flag. Do not use NOC 00 for your current employment. If you are self-employed and do not have managers in your business under your supervision, because you are not performing the duties of NOC 00 as of yet. And if you claim that you are performing NOC 00 functions, it may and it's not the case, it may result in misrepresentation. So be careful. As I said, you don't have to be performing NOC 00 functions now. Your job offer is a forward-looking statement. If your operations are currently small in your business, you may still claim 200 points for a job offer in NOC 00 if you can demonstrate to IRCC that your business is in the growth stage and that you will be transitioning from self-employment to entrepreneurship in the near future by adding managers and scaling up your operations very soon. So if you can demonstrate that, you can still claim even if your operations are small. Of course, it's given, the last tip, the more employees and professional staff you have in your business on payroll or outside of your payroll, the stronger your application gets. So these are the tips. And if you want a thorough, honest, competent guidance and caring guidance in business immigration, Sabirov's law firm is ready to help. We've been doing it for over 10 years with confidence and transparency. Business immigration is our business. Talk to us, book a consultation. Now let's get to your questions. Thank you for your attention.
To stay updated on all things related to Canadian business immigration, check us out on social media. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter for the latest news and updates. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell to stay informed about the most recent immigration news, interviews with top immigration specialists, and our weekly live shows. Visit our website at www.sabirovs.com for more information or to book a consultation with our team of experts.
Welcome back. Now it's time for your questions. I will be looking at the screen in front of me to read your questions and try my best to answer them live today. If I cannot answer them for certain reasons, I will reserve it and come back to you with more information. So, thanks for detailed information. This is crucial to know before starting an application. Great. Thank you very much for your words, kind words. Next. Harpreet is asking the following. It's a small screen, so I'm trying to read. If there is a Canadian company and an owner came through regional pilot program, can they go with this route and claim 200 points? Company had a manager earlier, but not now. Please suggest. I don't think it's a good fit for this method, this pathway that we discussed today. Harpreet, I think the regional pilot program requires you to stay in that province and go through that. So I don't think it's a good fit, but again, this can be a nuanced situation. To be honest, we never dealt with a regional pilot program candidate going through this pathway. And company is in IT service-based company. Talk to us. There's no harm. Well, potentially, it's my just assumption, because the logic, the philosophy of regional pilot program is to keep you in that region and not to allow you to be, going to other provinces. I think there are some controlling mechanisms, but don't quote me on that. We need to look into that more thoroughly, in more detail, more thoroughly. And now I suggest that you book a consultation. This is a very nuanced situation, and I'm sorry I cannot cover the whole situation in this live session. Okay, and the links for our consultations is on the website sobirovs.com. Plus, you can see the links underneath this video in the description section. Send us your feedback, send us your comments. We would love to hear from our audience. Tell us where you joining us from, and so that we can tailor the certain live shows to that region. For example, we will be doing, we have done certain regions, for example, immigrating from UAE to Canada, business immigration from United States to Canada. So we need to know where our audience is coming from and tailor the content for their attention. If we don't have any questions, so I think things are clear. If you rewatch this session, don't hesitate to leave your questions in the comments section. Okay? Thank you very much for your time and participation. Enjoy the rest of the week. See you next week. Bye.